The Horn of Africa, home to the neighboring countries of Ethiopia and Eritrea, has long been a region of strategic importance and intricate political dynamics. This video aims to delve into the recent conflict and diplomatic strain between these two nations, examining their historical relationship, the pivotal 2018 peace deal, and the subsequent developments that have shaped their current state of affairs. Ethiopia and Eritrea have a tumultuous history that dates back to the mid-20th century. Eritrea, once an Italian colony, was federated with Ethiopia in 1952. However, Eritrea's quest for independence led to a prolonged armed struggle that culminated in Eritrea's formal secession from Ethiopia in 1993. Despite the newfound independence, border disputes persisted, ultimately leading to the 1998 to 2000 Eritrean-Ethiopian War. This brutal conflict resulted in tens of thousands of casualties and left both nations deeply scarred. Following years of stalemate and hostility, a breakthrough came in 2018 when Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed took office. His administration's commitment to ending the conflict led to the signing of the Joint Declaration of Peace and Friendship in July 2018. This landmark agreement marked a turning point, as both countries agreed to resume diplomatic relations, reopen borders, and foster economic cooperation. Impact of the peace deal on both countries. The 2018 peace deal brought a sense of hope and optimism to the region. Families separated by the conflict were reunited, trade and communication channels were restored, and both nations began exploring collaborative development projects. The international community lauded the agreement, with Abiy Ahmed receiving the Nobel Peace Prize in 2019 for his efforts in resolving the long-standing conflict. Ethiopia, a landlocked country, has historically relied on Eritrean ports for access to international trade routes. However, recent developments have seen Ethiopia seeking alternative routes and partnerships with neighboring countries to secure sea access. This quest for maritime gateways has reignited tensions with Eritrea as it challenges the existing dynamics and economic interests. Eritrea's response to Ethiopia's claims. Eritrea, under the leadership of President Isaias Afwerki, has responded to Ethiopia's maritime aspirations with caution and skepticism. Eritrean officials have raised concerns about Ethiopia's intentions and the potential impact on regional stability. The rhetoric between the two nations has become increasingly charged, with both sides issuing statements that reflect growing mistrust. Key statements from Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed and Eritrean President Isaias Afwerki. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has emphasized Ethiopia's need for diversified trade routes to support its economic growth and development. He has called for regional cooperation and mutual understanding to address these challenges. On the other hand, President Isaias Afwerki has underscored the importance of respecting Eritrea's sovereignty and existing agreements. He has urged Ethiopia to reconsider its approach and prioritize diplomatic dialogue. The diplomatic strain between Ethiopia and Eritrea has been marked by public posturing and media exchanges. Both countries have used state-controlled media to project their narratives and rally domestic support. This has resulted in a war of words, with accusations and counter-accusations further exacerbating tensions. The international community has closely monitored the unfolding situation, with various actors expressing concern over the potential for renewed conflict. Organizations such as the African Union, the United Nations, and key global powers have called for restraint and emphasized the importance of dialogue. Diplomatic efforts to mediate the situation have been initiated, but progress remains slow and uncertain. The escalating diplomatic strain poses significant risks for both countries and the broader region. Renewed conflict could lead to further loss of life, displacement of populations, and economic disruption. Additionally, regional instability could create a breeding ground for extremist groups and exacerbate humanitarian crises. It is imperative for both nations to recognize the potential consequences and take proactive steps to de-escalate tensions. Neighboring countries such as Sudan, Djibouti, and Somalia play a crucial role in the regional dynamics of the Horn of Africa. These nations have their own interests and alliances that can influence the Ethiopia-Eritrea relationship. Regional organizations like the Intergovernmental Authority on Development (IGAD) also have a stake in promoting peace and stability in the area. The involvement of these actors can either contribute to resolving the conflict or complicate the situation further. The Ethiopia-Eritrea conflict has far-reaching implications for regional stability and security. Prolonged tensions can disrupt trade routes, hinder economic development, and strain diplomatic relations among neighboring countries. Additionally, the presence of armed groups and the potential for cross-border conflicts can further destabilize the region. It is essential to address these issues comprehensively to ensure long-term peace and security. Several potential scenarios could unfold in the coming years. One possibility is the successful resolution of tensions through diplomatic efforts and regional cooperation. This would require both countries to prioritize dialogue, compromise, and mutual understanding. Another scenario is the continuation of the status quo, with periodic flare-ups of tensions and limited progress toward lasting peace. The most concerning scenario is the escalation of conflict, which could have devastating consequences for both nations and the region as a whole. In conclusion, the recent conflict and diplomatic strain between Ethiopia and Eritrea highlight the complexities and challenges of achieving sustainable peace in the Horn of Africa. While the 2018 peace deal brought a glimmer of hope, the underlying issues and regional dynamics continue to pose significant obstacles. It is crucial for both countries to recognize the importance of dialogue, compromise, and cooperation in resolving their differences. The international community also has a vital role to play in supporting these efforts and promoting stability in the region. The stakes are high, and the consequences of inaction are severe. As we reflect on the history and recent developments in the Ethiopia-Eritrea relationship, let us also recognize the potential for a brighter future. By fostering a culture of peace and understanding, we can contribute to a more stable and prosperous Horn of Africa.